Hello, everyone. My name is Younas, and welcome to the vFairs Epic Events podcast. Those of you who haven't subscribed to the podcast, I suggest you guys go ahead and subscribe to that one. Today, I'm joined by someone who brings a unique mix global perspective, strategic thinking, and deep industry experience. Kristian has held senior leadership roles in event tech, marketing, and partnerships, and is known for building meaningful connections between brands and their audiences. Whether it's shaping the go-to-market strategy or scaling partnership, Kristian has done it all. I'm super excited to learn a bit more about his journey and his take on the event tech and the industry. Kristian, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Younas. It's a pleasure to be here. Very excited for this talk and to share anything that I can.
Perfect. Kristian, let's start with this. Again, I asked this question to pretty much all of my podcast guests. What brings you to the events industry? What led you to join this industry?
Oh, I think it came a long way. To be honest, when I lived back in Denmark, I used to work with events. I worked for Red Bull back then, and but that was not really the way. I came to England to join Gartner and IT advisory. And back then I used to attend a ton of events. I was always sent out to try and meet these customers. You have like a sheet of names that says, go and find these people, talk to them, introduce yourself. But that was over 10 years ago. So it's more like, how do you find these people? It's the early days of LinkedIn as well. Well, LinkedIn a bit around, but it was harder to find that way. So it really started out from the frustration of attending all of these events and going to them. And I thought to myself, listen, there can be a smarter way to do this. So for myself, I built this little networking event app tool where people could create a little profile. They had their names, who they were, and what they were there for, who they're there to meet. And then you could sort of message each other saying, hey, I'm going to meet you by the bar, or let's book a meeting afterwards. This is my email, kind of thing. And one thing led from another. That went well. There was some adoption. I had some good people working at the Danish UK Chamber of Commerce that says, this looks super interesting. Could we use this for our events? And then it sort of evolved from there. And then it became the full event platform that it is. So I kind of stumbled into it a little bit by accident. But how I am is really much about seeing a problem, finding a solution, and trying to build it. And that has now grown. So I started the company as a serious business back in 2018, and we have done, 2015. And we have done, I don't know how many events now all over Europe, and it's slowly evolving.
Perfect. Kristian, so it looks like you are from the tech background. So again, you are a builder yourself. That's amazing. Would love to learn a bit more from you. What's your take on AI within events? But we'll come to that later. Kristian, it looks like you have attended a lot of events yourself. If I have to say, what are top 3 events that you love attending as an attendee? What would those be?
Well, as I'm very much into technology, I think the ones like CES or the tech conferences that they have here in London. So I'm based in the UK. I like technology and gadgets, but I also like simple technology, strangely enough. So for my own sense, I am a self-taught coder, build and design everything myself. So the events that I like to attend is to see cool new technologies but mainly hardware, to be honest. I like physical stuff.
And what about the events within the event tech industry? Have any preference on that one? Which one do you like to connect with more event professionals that can take benefit from the services that you offer?
So the events where we would sort of try and place ourselves as the app.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, we do particularly in-person events. I would say 50 to 1,000 people. We have done summits like the Retail Summit. We've had the IBEA conferences in Istanbul. So a few hundred people. I think that's really the sweet spot, because what we're trying to do is going back to basic and focus on the 3 points that we think that is important as an event app. So the networking aspect of it, letting people see who else is there, who are my peers, who should I connect with. Building your own agenda, so having a look at the full schedule, but really say, okay, which sessions do I need to go to? Which other of my peers are in these sessions? What's it about? And then the notification aspect. So when you sign up for your agenda, you get notified if the session is running 5 minutes late, or the speaker has changed or something before, and then also after the events to keep that whole thing alive. So really what we focus on is those three aspects. So we don't do anything for like AR mapping or virtual,
Okay.
whatever you can get. Yeah.
Kristian, so for event websites, again, whenever I talk to our guests, some of them are like they like small registration forms, which means that capture as little as you can, name, email, and then capture any extra information that you have to build those meaningful connections. And some others are like, what, let them fill it up, because the more I know about the attendee, the better we can serve them for networking, for agenda, and so forth. What's your take on that? Short registration forms or long ones?
Definitely short. I think what we have done that we see that's working well is dividing it. So buying a ticket, signing up, well, our software allows you to sell for whatever platform you want and then still give the attendees into the app and give it to them. But what it really comes is buy the ticket, because also what we see for conferences that are, or summits that are a few hundred people, oftentimes is actually a personal assistant or someone that, like a secretary that buys the tickets, and she buys 5 tickets for company ABC. And she doesn't have the information to fill out. So that point needs to be as simple as possible. And then for us, you put in the email of the people that is supposed to be on the event. They come into our app, and then we have a little questionnaire there. Like, if you want to be matched for the networking, fill out these parts. If not, just leave us your name, upload an image, and then you can go. So I think forcing people to do something that they're not there to, or if it's too much information all at once, makes it too complicated. So definitely keep it short, and build it in steps. So when you need that information, take the information, but don't get it all up front.
Perfect. Kristian, so that's on the registration piece. Now, when attendees are in the event itself and they're using the mobile app, what's one feature that you love the most about the mobile app itself? That you feel that helps attendee get the best out of the conference?
Um, well, so I think it really depends, because we have focused solely on three features. What really helps the attendees is the ability to see people, and I think a feature that we have see and do that works well is that people can make a little profile, like, this is my interest, this is what I'm here for, this is who I am, and we call that your little networking profile. And I think that is something that works well, and most, I would say over 80% of the people using the app fills this one out. And we then use that to see, okay, first of all, show it on the profile that this is what Younas is interested in. But
Yeah.
then also, if you have the same kind of thing selected, then you will be sort of matched together. And we don't say directly you should meet Younas. We just kind of push you higher up on the list.
Yeah.
So kind of like your Google search, in the sense that the more relevant someone is to what you are looking for yourself, the higher up on the result list you're going to be. Of course, you can change that around, filter by name, email, company, whatever you want. But initially, we sort of push the ones that are the most interesting for us in our mind, that for you to meet. That's what we see is the most important for the attendees, for sure.
Perfect. And Kristian, just your personal take as an attendee of an event. What's your take on swags? Do you like them? You think it's a waste of money? What's your take on having expensive swags in booths?
Uh, well, swags, everyone likes swags. Everyone likes anything that's free, right? And the thing is fun. Like, most people, funny enough, keep the keychains that holds their badge, because it's just a memory, a memorabilia. So if you do have swag, definitely use it. We don't. When I go to events, I have a t-shirt on, like your hoodie there, where it just say who we are mainly. But that's also because when I go to the events we're on, I mainly go as tech support, if you can say so, help people so they can see who we are. But yeah, I love swag. Whatever you get for free is cool. But I think it's also about what you're trying to do with your event. Are you trying to build a brand? Is this brand something that you want to work on, or are you promoting other people? Really figure out who you are, and what it is that you want to do. Um, yeah,
Kristian, given that you come from the tech background, how do you think AI will change the ability to create these event websites and having these mobile apps? There are tons of tools out there that allows,
yeah.
to speed up the entire process. So, how do you think AI will shape the event tech industry?
Well, we see that it's a big hype at the moment, and of course it is because AI in itself is amazing, and the things that they can do is generally amazing. I use it a lot in building and coding for sure. ChatGPT is my junior developer. Most of the time I have like, here is a model I've made for one. Can you please copy that in for speakers and fill this out, blah, blah, blah. And it just prints it out. So it saves me hours of pure coding. And for that, I love it. What we see for the event apps themselves, and many event tech providers try to build this in as these amazing features of AI matchmaking and AI this and AI that. But at the end of the day, AI is just large quantities of data, right? That a computer reads for you. And I think if you build your app correctly in the first place, you have the matchmaking in there. So a normal SQL search will be able to see, okay, if you're looking for these three things, you need to talk to Younas. You don't need to send 4,000 lines of characters tokens to ChatGPT and get charged £5 for Kristian to know that I should talk to Younas. A
Yeah.
normal search could do that. But I think what AI is really interesting in, and unfortunately is outside of the main of what we are doing with our apps and our solutions. But I think where AI is really, really important is to take the content, so it can read the videos, it can do the transcripts, it can do a post session summary. Here are the important points, blah blah blah, and send that out directly to the attendees. I think for that, AI is amazing. For building event websites and apps, it's not quite there yet. I'd love to say that it is because it can do a lot, but unfortunately it forgets, and AI only knows what other people have built before. So if you want to invent something new, you need to be a human at the moment to come up with the ideas and be able to, as a developer, to articulate it to an AI what you needed to do. You need to know what information to give it, because you cannot just dump your whole code base and say, now write me a speaker profile. Or you probably could with that one instance, but a full events website with that renders properly and all these things with your own images. You can try, but you will see if you don't know coding yourself, and then you cannot troubleshoot, and you can't. Yeah, you get stuck.
So, Kristian, what are some of your favorite AI tools that you're using? So, ChatGPT is one. I'm assuming maybe Cursor, another one. I don't know if you use that.
I tried giving Cursor a little bit, but since I'm not really reinventing a new app at the moment, I'm sort of just enhancing a bit and building a little bit. I just use the Chat GPT, and I've set up my own GPTs. And I think why I'm there is because I had that before Cursor became available.
Yeah.
I code in a tool called Set, their little code editor, and I think that one is amazing. And changing over, I don't see the point. So I use ChatGPT most of the time, for all of it. Then I use GitHub Copilot. I use, on a more daily basis, I use Google and their ones for writing summaries and documentations and so on. And then I use something called TLDV. for video calls that summarizes this afterwards.
Nice.
Yeah, so those are the tools. I keep it manual to live
Yeah.
the idea of my app as well.
Perfect. Um, what's one feature in the event apps that you just feel that shouldn't be there anymore? It's just overrated, and we should get rid of it.
I did have a think about this before coming on, and I came up with two things that I've seen. I came to an event. It was a smaller event, but they had this. I don't know if you call it VR or AR treasure hunt, where we had to find coins or whatever it was, and you just saw a bunch of 50-year-olds trying to, nothing wrong with being 50, but trying to figure out the headset. And it was really just an awkward scene of people trying to navigate this. And that was a sense where too much technology, I think, can kill yourself. And then it becomes more about the toys and the tech rather than the event. But another thing I see also is when the whole COVID scene happens, and you saw companies like Hopin, who's now Ring Central, I believe,
Yeah.
became the $6 billion company of virtual events, which is now more or less died. And I think virtual is a big killer because many wants to offer a virtual track to their events, which I completely understand. Of course, you want to reach as many people as possible, but you're also cannibalizing on your own event if you offer come in person or go virtual. You can sit home in your pajamas and you can see the same thing, but
Yeah.
it will never be the same because people switch off their cameras. They do some laundry. They have their kids coming in saying hi, and people are not there for what an event is. And I think it's important here to think what is an event and what is it that you want. You want to have them in person. You want to cause that FOMO of not showing up. That's also why you can charge high ticket prices, is because there's a limited amount of people that can come. And
Yeah.
if you're really interested in coming, this is all the value you get, and you should show up. If you then just offer the same thing on a virtual track, then why should people show up? So you're kind of killing yourself in that way, I think. So for me, what I would take out first of all is trying to do all at once, so in person or virtual and hybrid. Divide them up, offer all the content afterwards as recording that people can buy on the virtual track. But the event days themselves are for the in person. It's the people who chose to come, to fly halfway around the world to attend. That's the value, and that's what builds your brand. If not, you are just a webinar basically. You can be a podcast instead of an event.
Yeah. And just your take on uh, AR, VR, like is there something where, because there was this big hype about the metaverse and everything else just right after COVID,
Yeah.
um, but nothing really happens in that case. Even Meta kind of stepped back from a lot of initiatives that they were taking. Like what's that emerging tech within the AR VR space? Do you think that might have some impact within the event tech industry?
I think if AR and VR is at the point where it is now with that Apple headset, which is amazing. I think if that was available when COVID started, it would have been a groundbreaking technology. Unfortunately, that was not where it was when it was needed, and I think that ship has now sailed because humans are humans. They want to talk to other people. They want to meet other people. They don't just want to chat because then there's no point in coming to the event. So I think, yeah, figure out what you are. You can offer a few times along the year. You can offer something cool like experience our session with this amazing speaker in VR, and now we've made this VR track. But I think what's also important for these organizers is to filming the content that and the resolution and the 3D and everything that you need to build these metaverses. That's a huge investment, and if you don't know if the ROI is going to be there, I think it's going to be dangerous to your event and your organization just from a pure money perspective. But definitely, I mean, in 5-10 years when the technology is there, yes, of course, I cannot go and attend an event in Sydney or in Buenos Aires that is a one-day event. No, I mean, my company is not going to pay £3,000 for me to fly to Buenos Aires for a conference. If you could have something that is virtual, but I think the technology needs to pick up, then it would be that. Then there is a merit for it. But I think right now, with where we are, I think it's something you need to be careful of, because you can easily overspend on features, and features sounds amazing on a pitch deck,
Yeah.
but is it what your attendees are there for? I think attendees comes to network and they come to learn,
Yeah.
and focus on that.
And if you can go back 10 years back and introduce, like, change something, come up with something that can better serve the event tech industry, what would have that been, when you started this journey?
Well, when I started this journey, just from me personally, it was about learning to code. And back then, you had to build most of it, like having this reusable software solution. I know vFair, you had yours.
Yeah.
Cvent is there. So there were great tools available. But I think what was back then is that everything had to be an app, or you were on a platform and you had to download a new one. You had to create a new profile. And I think this whole thing of setting up a new solution every time became a headache, because people come for 1 or 2 days. Do you really need them to go to the App Store, download an app, create a profile, sign in, all these things? So one thing I would drop back in is not to polish our own solution, but something that is PWA based, so a progressive web app, which is basically just a browser, a new window that you download on mobile and it runs offline. I think if you can push something back then, the technology was not there 10 years ago, but it is now. So imagine you come to an event, you don't have to download an app, you take your mobile phone, you scan the QR code, you enter the email you bought your ticket with, and there you are. You are into the event and your app is there. So I think if I want to drop something back in there, is that the whole sense of everything have to be App Store based, that whole dilemma, and then go to a progressive web app. Another benefit you get from there is that updates are instant. You can update your app instantly. It goes to the web. No one owns it. It's completely yours. It lives out in the free space. If you have to imagine at the day of the event, you figure out, oh shit, that link. Oh, sorry, I swear it on your podcast. That one link on the speaker bio is giving a 404 or a 500 error. I have to submit an update to the app. Well, Apple can take 14 days to approve that update. That's okay. It's going to go live 14 days after your event.
Yeah.
That would never happen with a PWA online browser-based one. The updates will be there instantly. Within a minute or something, the app will restart. Everything will work again. And another one is one we thought about a lot with Apple in the beginning was ticketing. Apple wanted 30% of all of it. And I could not go and say to our organizers, oh, if you want to use our app, sorry, you have to pay us. And then you have to pay Apple 30% to get it in the App Store also. So if I could drop it 10 years back, shorter, I would say PWA versions of an app.
That's pretty interesting. Thanks, Kristian. Kristian, if people want to learn more about you, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
So I think the best way to find me and the content is either at pressonetwork.com or go to LinkedIn. My name is Kristian Papadakis. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the world with that name, so I will come up first. Go in there, send me a message, say hi. And we are opening now for our new platform here somewhere in the next 2 weeks. So say hi and we'll give you a free tour of that one and some free credits.
Thank you so much, Kristian, for being on the podcast. Lots of great insights, and we'll catch up. Thank you everyone for listening in. Please, subscribe to the Epic Events podcast if you want to keep on hearing from, experts like Kristian. See you in the next episode. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kristian.